the CT side, but I mean, at this point, Heroic is no stranger to starting on T, considering how often they pick this map.
Good bit of outside control to start. The flash as well. Farlig, 1 for 1. They're actually doing a bit of team damage, and well, that's going to make it easier for Zen. He's actually gunning them down from heaven. These long-range angles, he'll wait for his teammates to come through, and they still haven't collapsed on this side. The bombs dropped out in the open as well, but still even in the trades. Ooh, down, now just out to Madden, and he's descending. Oh, this is very awkward.
He's pushed out his USB, but he can't get it done. And Godsent, while they're in the 3v2 advantage, they're getting too overzealous to actually get and down onto the side itself. Instead of trying to contest from a slightly more favorable position, when they drop down, it's easy picking for Nico. There's no easy way to double peek him because the player up in heaven is low HP himself. Martin's not feeling all too secure. An advantageous position given up by them in that situation. Now, though, Heroic, much faster paced play, directly to drop a player down into vents. It's Nico to make his way down. And the CATs, they've gone for the force fire, but I think they may be losing quite a bit of control because of this if they want to rotate players back to Nico.
Ooh, good reaction here from Godsent, though. Pushing in towards lobby, they find a pick on Stown. And sure, Nico has this lower activation. They should understand that that's a possibility. They would have heard the sound cue, unless players are talking over what they should be able to hear. You can see Heroic have kind of changed their plan up. They were setting up for outside smokes, but now they've re-aggressed lobby to make sure that that's not an angle they have to worry about into the late round. And I think a lot of it will hinge on Nico here. Whether he dives up the vent to help clear out door or tries to distract them in any way.
Zen also has a 5-7 when he's playing from the angle that he is, and that makes it really tricky to walk out of the door, but Caden's able to do it. He takes him down. Martin peeks out, but Tessis is ready. With this, it should be an easy enough round. Bore up as well with the Mac 10. Misses a few shots, and that gives Farlig an opportunity to get away with a kill. Caden's down already, and both Farlig and Stiko can back off and save these weapons. Now, Zen, of course, was the pivotal point of that overall CT setup. He needed to find that first kill, and as Stiko tries to aggress on his own, he will not be able to get much. Farlig backs off, and he'll save the scout for another round. Now, again, just the initial contact made by Caden over there, I think that's really what wins him the round. Tessis then comes through and finishes it. Martin, really nice.
Привет, кто на трансляции.
Yeah, I actually wonder if we were able to look primarily at Zen's position, whether Nico would have made a sound cue on the ladder just to pull the aim away for a split second, whether that's something that Heroic may have explored. Always a big fan of the small details. And well, that's not a minor one. Farlig losing the scout, the money for Godsent, of course, is absent, so bringing that over would have been a nice little benefit, but Heroic recognized that nice and early. 6-0 start for Nico, only in 2 rounds.
Martin and Stiko both buy up a deagle. Farlig going for the 5-7, I really dislike that, actually. He'll have enough money for the op in the next round regardless, but utility will be a bit more dry, and as a result of that, he'll have to get aggressive to compensate. Farlig on nuke CT side is actually a very good oppa, so I'll say this, that he can make it work, but it's not ideal to say the least.
О, привет, да, я тебя помню. Как ты увидел, что я начал стримить?
Now, Crystal dodges an A, dodges the flash, rotates over, and he'll be playing a bit of a crossfire with Stiko, but Heroic right now have to be careful about Zen, who's coming in from behind, and Zen with the USB comes in with a kill, but no more.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be too many real surprises outside of that one. If Zen had found 2 kills, maybe there was a chance, but...
Ты ставил на что-то или нет? Я еще не успел, но я думаю на Heroicов на 2-0 зарядить. Сейчас даже посмотрю, какой каф. Двоечка, я думаю. Можно поставить. Я тоже на Heroic хочу поставить, но я не знаю, типа просто ставить на них койков 1.25. А если 2-0 закроют, можно 1.98 вот поднять. Вы просто на Heroic ставили? Тоже вот так и думаю, поставлю вот. Просто 2-0.
But a nice 3-0
Это
start
$3.
for Heroic as
То
Godsent
есть
answer back. Of course, we talked about
как
Farley with that
трешечку
AWP.
поставлю.
He, of course, will be missing out on a kit, something that the entire Godsent roster is missing out on. So if they end up
Смешной
in a
прикол, а
bump slot,
сколько
they'll have to move
поставил?
rather quickly. Look at all this pressure being applied by
Поставил
Nico.
$3
This is actually something that Nico on
Надеюсь, зайдут.
XVs used to like to do as well. Solo himself, Farley pressured over at ramp, and he's going to be forced back.
У меня просто не было времени на всякую там аналитику посмотреть, чьи пики. Вот кто, напишите, пожалуйста, чьи пик они сейчас играют. Какие вообще карты будут.
They've gone for the reverse outside control where they go from hell instead, and Zen gets another before going down.
Какая-то задержка по звуку на трансляции.
Now down 4 versus 3. Borup can equalize, but utility will have to be expended to actually
Обновлю.
still make their contact in. And Steiko's
А,
got
боже, я не
counter
ту
to work
трансляцию
around
просто
now.
смотрю.
Whether or not it works in his favor is to be seen as Borup will see the foot right as it lingers forward. Takes him down.
Был не ту трансляцию. Спасибо всем, кто зашел на трансляцию.
Well, they might have dodged a bullet, and indeed they have. Borup gets his third kill of the round, and is Crystal all on his lonesome. Peeks out, drops the bomb, 35 seconds, has a chance to go for more, but needs to wide swing here, and Kaden will intercept.
Really nice effort there from Crystal. I actually thought he was going to pull that one off because he had isolated duels ahead of him, and that first kill, very, very sharp, but ultimately too tall a task. It's interesting that that we see that outside control from Heroic as soon as they lose that lurking player in Nico. I imagine if he'd gotten down safely, then they just
Там еще Virtus.pro должны играть против Вислокараков. Я думал тоже посмотреть, но они в то же время играют. Поэтому, может, потом как-то переключимся. Но это, я так понял, пик Хероиков.
And I know we've talked about Godsent's nuke and when they pick up these pistols as being very, I want to say star focused or individual focus is really what I'm trying to get at, because they don't go for gimmicky stacks, they don't set up for flash plays all too often, they just hold spots and hope that the Deegs and CZs hit.
And look, sometimes they do.
Yeah.
We definitely can't take that away from them, but it becomes a lot.
Тебя там вчера ставки позаходили или не позаходили, это я не помню.
Sort of what we're seeing over here, but not exactly. But the screw you counter, which is that they'll sometimes take a peek and they say, yeah, we're just better than you. Borup peeking Farlig earlier in the gun round when he's got an AK and Farlig has an AWP. That's something like that. You know, Heroic now have kind of the confidence of champions as they almost lose another player. Steiko not quite able to execute him though, and as he goes up the ladder, he will go down. But yeah, that individual confidence, you can see that right there. Tessis dropping down from the ladder, just spraying away into the dead body. There you go.
Пока что все достаточно изично. Потом будет перерыв, я посмотрю, какие там карты дальше будут. На что рассчитывать? Но надо 2-0, чтобы Хероики закрывали.
Right. Now the big question becomes, we talk about Farlig on the AWP. We have seen him get more aggressive as of late, when he is typically quite a passive AWPer, but he's so good at these close range duels. He will be still staying a little bit further back. He has a teammate up close. That will be Zen as a secondary form of contact. And he's just there to
Надеюсь,
make sure
2-0 будет.
Farley doesn't get timing, repositioning, looking for other picks. He can play around the smoke as well. Different set of outside smokes as well for her.
Так сколько ты поставил на Godsent?
Towards Mini, but that's where Zen was positioned. So easy first kill. Actually finding a second as well.
Yeah, Heroic go for this with two smokes as well. Steiko though nestled away in ramp corner, good for a kill and almost a second. Now with a flashbang to fail, Farlig will also do the same with his shot and can no longer hold the angle. Backs off, waits for a flash of his teammate, and as Cadian is proceeding forward, Farlig almost goes down. Heroic still fighting it back.
А, вон, здесь пишет Nuke, Overpass и Train. Но я, получается, 3 бакса, это около 200 рублей где-то. Ну, хорошо. Обидно. Не, ну просто Heroic, они топ-1 сейчас.
I always get so concerned when players are hitting
Так что
shots
вряд
like
ли
that because you just know
они
they
смогут
are
здесь
feeling it in the moment. To
что-то
commit to
показать.
a no scope like that, the confidence as well to turn away. Good round for Godsent to win, but Heroic definitely make that one scary. Oh no. Zen getting picked off early towards Mini as well.
That's a big one. Zen was so impactful in the previous round, bringing it home. And Farlig on the bright side is coming alive, but the second flick doesn't work, and he has to back off at this point. Does he? Is he re-peeking? Really? Wow.
Wow. And Heroic have fallen back as well, so it's actually a good read in the end. If not a dangerous game to play.
Very much so. Martin, though, his middle lane is
Хорошо.
danger, and he has been
2-2 уже.
acquainted with death as well. Not quite
2-2.
but a distant relative who he meets quite often. Farlig takes away Borup's life, and Caden left in a 1v2. He started this round, and now he is in an attempt to finish. But with Farlig coming in from behind, things will be a little bit more difficult. Caden makes his way down the fence. Do they realize that it doesn't really look like it is the case? Stiko and company, they know there's also 50 seconds left, so they can't really overcommit. And with the squeaky door of decontamination being open, that's that. Cadian waits for them to make their way over. Rotations coming through, but they're from behind. Does he realize it? Yes, he does. Turns around. Good flick, but second peek from Stiko will secure the kill. Godsent get it away with very, very little saved up.
Yeah, one player staying over. At least Godsent play that 2v1 rather smartly because, of course, they double up. You can see Caden was still so worried about the ramp rotation, the potential for a split coming through. And they make sure that only one player makes any audio. So Caden still has to keep that in the back of his mind. Faster play here from Heroic. They're collapsing on this A site quickly, and Martin's dropped in an instant. The SMG is tracking him down. Crystal as well, forced off of his angle. They'll have to play for retake, and sure, they have some utility to do so. They have kits as well, but they have to make sure they don't bleed out on their manpower because Caden's found another. This actually may be a call to save now.
I mean, it has to be. After you only kept one player alive in the previous one, there's no way you can take this away. Now, on the bright side, well, not really quite the bright side, but the silver lining is that your loss bonus is still quite high. So you should have a buy in the next round as long as you can save at least 2 of these weapons, if not all 3 preferably. But that's just a big change of pace from Heroic that Godsent just isn't expecting. The Mac-10 taking down Martin over there with a great flashbang to go with. It's completely different to how they've been taking contact with Squeaky so far. I mean, the closest we saw them, getting was Cadian just taking a peek through and getting a kill. Have you noticed that the second set of outside smokes that Heroic throws, it's very different to how other teams throw them. Heroic throws it with 2 smokes instead of 3. It leaves a big gap in the middle, though.
Yeah, I don't know if I mean, I'll imagine the gap isn't something that is intentional.
It's not possible to throw with, 2 without leaving a gap.
Okay.
See this
again. Yeah, they've done it once again. Maybe it's something. Okay, I was gonna say maybe it's not by design, but seems like something they're factoring in. They talk about it. There's a third smoke that's thrown just to create that firm wall, and they creep their way down towards Secret. There's nobody within earshot immediately to hear that, so Zen may be none the wiser.
Человек показывает на стриме. Спасибо, кто зашел. Пишите, на кого ставили и ставили ли вообще в этом матче на кого-то.
As well, showing his hand with the AWP. A much cleaner looking round here for Godsent. And Heroic, that outside take, yeah, that gap is a bit of an issue because it slows them down, and Godsent were already prepared.
Yeah, you can see Stiko already having basically placed himself in a perfect off angle. Sounds good for 1. Damage is important, and he knows it as well. Keeps on crouching forward, but Martin with the MP9 shows us why that is the strongest gun in the game. But yeah, Stiko was already prepared with an off angle.
Ну, я вчера до конца смотрел.
Не
знаю, сколько закончилось.
There you go. With those 2 kills, he's able to secure Farlig a much more stable position where Farlig knows that just a single
до конца смотрел. Зашла у меня вчера ставка. Причем 2. Чел тоже вчера поднял у меня, ну, типа, я тоже смотрел трансляцию, поставил $60, выиграл 120.
Alright, this is the wall of smokes. I think somebody just wasn't throwing one of the smokes all in all. Great shot from Zen.
Сейчас можно, кстати, ему написать.
Really help them out, but apparently Godsent don't want to reveal their positions. This is one thing about this wall of smokes, is that it makes it so risky to spray through, because a player next to Mini can just pop right out and peekaboo you down. So I guess that is one small advantage that you have with these as well.
They've called the same thing here from Heroic, just faster. To make sure that they make use of the wall of smokes a little bit quicker, and that means that Stiko cannot get that forward position. It doesn't matter though. He gets the kill anyway, even though Borb seemed to get the drop on him, getting away with 40 HP, and Heroic have cancelled here. They're doubling back, trying to take control where they can, but they're losing a lot of these fights. Long-range spray from Nico. Zen should be able to trade. No, Nico actually dodging that one too. So a lot more competitive. And oh dear.
Sounds actually made it very competitive. It's a 2v2 all over again. They've got a bomb, they've got a Molotov as well. Molly will clear out Heaven, but Farley, on the one angle they didn't quite check, is able to get the quick kill. Nico, in hot pursuit of the Vents players, unable to connect, and Heroic, although they make it close and competitive, will still allow Godsent the fourth. Now, Godsent over here, I like how Zen's playing on outside. He's been significantly
Сейчас посмотрю, какие карты вообще. Godsent'ов сильные, какие слабые, и у Героиков также.
This is where what I'm more curious about is, do Godsent maybe try and get a bit aggressive into lobby, into ramp, get a bit more control?
Нюк у них на 50%. Карт выигрывают. А оверпасс это их лучшая карта. Героика. Нюк лучше. Оверпасс 55% побед. То есть я думаю, есть шансы.
So it'll all be a timing game. Martin still so concerned about a Vents dive, a flank at that. Not sure that they spotted all of the players here from Heroic. And you can see they're turtling. They're holding on to a little information they have.
And this is going to be really important for them as well, because not just holding on to information, it's holding on to weaponry. Caden picks up that gun. 45 seconds as well. Losing this many players early on, that is criminal.
6 человек на трансляции, спасибо, кто зашел. Можете писать что-то в чат, чтобы не было скучно. Всем даже чуть.
Doesn't guarantee them the round even now. Stown proceeds forward.
Oi.
Gets the shot, pulls out the Glock, will be able to continue the kill as well. Bomb can be planted, but will it be so? Stown instead, perhaps just expecting Crystal to rotate in. But with 10 seconds on the clock, he knows it is his prerogative to make a move. Crystal, here's the bomb being planted, and in he drops. Stown will back off immediately, play around the double doors.
Ой, хорошо, красиво.
Shot, beautiful stuff. As he is just impeccable in that round. 4 kills to his name, and every single one of them a beauty.
And it is an eco. No armor brought up around the pistols in from Heroic, and Stown does it all. You can see how hungry he was for that round as well. As soon as he gets his hands on the AWP, he doesn't stop moving, trying to track down Godsent players. And you can see what it's done to that CT side economy. SMGs and Deegs to try and contain Heroic at 7.
Это трансляция тут.
And let's not forget, containing Heroic at 7 might not be enough anyway. Their CT side hasn't even begun yet. This is a terrorist line that is just taking over. Perfectly so. Godsent. They've got Zen on outside, who's found a lot of success, but with the MP9, not the most favored weapon. Heroic are setting up for an outside take as well, so Zen's about to be as tested as can be. And the question then comes in, are they going to be throwing flashes over to try and get him aggressive, or are they just going to turtle up? The utility being as low as it is means that the former is even risky, and as they drop down and take full control, there's no one to contest at all beyond just sprays or smokes, and Stown takes away Crystal's life. Now they're trying to get aggressive inside the lobby, but there's no one to find. Godsent at every single step of the way are being read, they're being found, they're being decimated. No map control. Not even sight lines on their opponents most of the time. And how are they going to really recover this? Nico creeps in. Smoke is there.
Bomb
And
site's
as
free.
he's still flying, yeah, that's the problem. This is worst possible scenario. Martin gets one short, but it will not matter.
Yeah, and you just have to save here if you're Modern. Every reaction that Godsent were trying to go for,
Это
given how
получается
much space they were
потенциально, что
losing outside,
9-4.
and the unwillingness to take that fight at long
То есть
range,
пока
given
вообще
that they have
уверен.
MP9
Плюс
primarily.
террористы это
You can
слабая
understand the
сторона
decision
на
making there from Godsent. But losing weapons here for Heroic does have
убить еще бы этот
its
калаш сейчас.
implications. Of course, they're trying to get this AK out of Modern's hands, but overcommitting to this can be dangerous, but only losing the couple of players. Yeah, Godsent just have no real control, and so they have to fight for lobby instead because the MP9 better at those angles. You can get the Deke to be a lot more effective, treating it as this two-punch machine.
And you
But
don't
Heroic
have
read into it
flashbangs to go
fantastically.
outside with MP9s either.
Yeah.
Now, it's not even MP9s. It's not even Deagles across the board. It's just one Deagle, there's a CZ, and Heroic, they're ready to exploit the hell out of this. Godsent, if there's anything that'll really be punching their confidence in the gut, it'll be a map against Heroic where they are doing this on the terrorist side. Nico starts off very nicely. Will take apart Steeko, and Zen should be next to fall. He's already been tagged up very heavily as he retreats backwards. Heroic and company. Well, Michael, there's very little that Godsent can do to bring them back over here. It's such a difficult game to come back to, and this one last round that they'll have in the next one, this one last gun round, that's what seals their fate for the entire game, or so it seems.
Yeah, they'll still be able to get one more buy-in, but a 9th round for Heroic is, like you said, maybe a little bit too much of a task when they end up on the second half.
No, I mean, the next round is their last gun round. I mean, otherwise it's just 11-4.
Gotcha.
And even that, dude, money's horrible.
Yeah.
They're so up.
We have been praising Farlick for his rifle as of late.
Yeah, we have.
We'd much prefer him on the AWP, especially on CT side, but we have been praising his rifle. Yeah. Well, they're definitely going to need that praise to show some substance.
Really? Is that all it takes? I believe in you, Godsent. You're amazing. Are they going to win the round now? Let's see. Michael said it, guys.
Basically me in chat when I'm watching CS games.
Yeah. It's a Tinkerbell effect. Just clap really hard and hopefully they'll be the ones to clap their opponents. Nico, because that's what Tinkerbell did, yeah, clap their opponents. Martin has already been tagged up, but Borup and company, they've been given free control over ramp, and with a Molotov and flashbang being there, Farlig has to retreat as well. Zen's fallen, and that's a huge kill. He was trying to get tricky from Secret, but Nico, this time, he gets the better of him.
Oh, a couple 1-for-1 exchanges, but Heroic still having the man advantage. Cadian eliminating space. It's really going to come down to Farlig's position. He's making some noise as well, so Nico should be aware that that's going to be a flank, but Farlig still bests him in the duel. Brings it closer. They have a kit, a smoke as well, so some of these post plants that Heroic have set up into may not even be the best because of that utility. Crystal trying to lead the way.
Well, Crystal has already lost one of his teammates, and it seems like maybe a save would have been a better choice, but Farlig doesn't even have that opportunity over here. Cadian slow peeks forward, and 10th round on the board for Heroic. They are dismantling them, and Godsent,
Здесь, походу, есть
they've just had
10-5.
their wings
Здесь
plucked, and
11-4.
they no longer quite Tinkerbell.
Напишите, хотите ли вы смотреть еще Virtus.pro Висла Краков. В принципе, тоже хочу ставочку поставить.
Can you at least get 5? Because that 11-4 scoreline is looking oh so tantalizing for Heroic. A little bit more outside control. This time,
И через 2 минуты должен начать играть.
Slightly different. I think it was supposed to be a smoke towards main. Yeah, I don't think that's quite where they intended it.
Borup, though, he's already had Nico take down Zen. That's been a deal going the other way for quite a while now. And Nico, he's been coming alive with a few kills here and there. Seems like pretty much all of Heroic have. Stan's had his moments. Nico's had his moments. I guess Tessus and Cadian are the only one who haven't really been lights out. But You don't really need to be lights out when the rest of your team's doing as well as they are. Martin, the 10-14 in hand, waiting to see what he can really find. No one's pushing into him though. Heroic are so cautious, and Martin's forced to make the move, but he's good for the kill. Stico and has the one across the map, and suddenly things are possible. Martin though traded away. Tessis, I said he hasn't had a chance to shine, but maybe it's his time to turn off the sun. Stico, wait for them to come in. Deagle at the ready. They're checking the angle, but it's not good enough. Stico, so fantastic on the Deagle, and he's done it all.
10-5.
Fifth round secured, courtesy of the man himself, now on top of the scoreboard.
I love that you can tell just by the positions that people are holding, just what they're about to do. Was a bit surprised by the Martin one swing with the AK.
Залил нависло?
To be so successful in the duel.
Почему нависло? ВП же должны закрывать на изи.
It was going to be a hard one to clear for Heroic. So they do muster together 5. Now moving into the second half, of course, Heroic have a significant advantage. A lot more hinging on this pistol as you would typically expect. We'll see if they can get it over the line. A couple of flashes here for Godsent and smoke as well. Heroic already making a fast rotation down the vents as they have nobody really peering for outside control. Borb's only periodically peering in for it.
Висла Краков не выиграет 10 раундов.
Some of the plan is.
Well, Caden's position was good, but he lets go of it a bit too early, perhaps expecting them to face into him. It's down. Tagged up just a little bit early on, but he will be finished.
У них даже нету перерыва между сменами сторон.
Actually, Godsent, they've thrown a little bit of an interesting state of affairs. Borup will fall as well. Suddenly, this becomes a nearly impossible retake without a kit or a flashbang. Farlig is ready to take over Secret. There's no way the player gets past him, and with the P250 missing a few shots, it got dicey, but even so, Farlig good for the kill, and now Caden has to deal.
Ну, эти должны выигрывать. Virtus.pro. Даже посмотрю, какие там у них места в рейтинге. Virtus.pro топ-11. Висла топ-45. Думаю, на изи должны закрывать. 2-0 ВП. Я хотел бы на этой, на ВП и Висла на двух картах поднять. Нету времени сейчас, чтобы это. Все равно в местах тоже дело. У Virtus.pro там винстрик что-то с 17 побед или с 11. Они проигрывают давно. Нави наказывали, я думаю. Да и не только Нави, в принципе, наказывали. Но я думаю, должны закрывать какую-то покраку.
Hey, but a big gap in a wall of smokes could be all you need. Caden firing off a couple shots with the scout. They're wrapping quickly for Nico's down, and Borup there to trade things out, but ultimately collapsed on. Too much firepower for Godsent, and they're cut out from the site. So Caden, yeah, quick goal to save. Tessis as well will join him shortly. Good couple rounds in a row here for Godsent.
Поставьте лайки, подпишитесь.
That got very dangerous for a second though. Borup could have really done a lot more damage. He flails about too much with the Deagle, unfortunately can't quite pluck players out of thin air like Stico did earlier, but Godsent definitely playing with fire. Heroic will concede the 7th round to Godsent over here. Godsent, fantastic set of affairs from the pistol run and the anti-force spy, so could be the making of a comeback, but we'll still have to hold our horses for the first gun round at least.
Нико нет. Нико, это не тот Нико, там же на про-сцене есть что-то 4 Нико. Нико в G2 перешел, тот что с Фейс. Это другой Нико.
Any real collapse. I'm sure that is important to make sure that there's no CT side reaction, but it seems to be a lot more well-timed here from Godsent. See if that keeps up throughout the remainder of the half. Then only on a P250.
Надеюсь, сейчас херойки соберутся, а то...
Maybe dissuaded from doing so.
Виталь, это ты был вчера у нас на трансляции или ты кто-то новый?
Where does that nade go to is a big question for me. Well, I'm sure we'll have it answered soon enough. Down and company.
Да-да, тот
all
перешел
playing
в
around the
Джету.
lobby.
Он
Farlick
будет завтра играть
takes the
уже.
elevator up to the second floor, where, well, first floor, I guess, if you're European.
Завтра играют Астралисы
And
против
no wait
Мибров.
for that. Elevator
И
floor is always
завтра
confusing
играет
whenever I
Фурия
go
против
to Europe.
Джету. Я думаю, Джету
Yeah.
было бы интересно
Okay, might have
посмотреть.
to call it
Я
ground
даже, наверное,
surprise,
буду
but it's all good.
реально там.
Then 10 to 7 and in they go.
Нико
Martin gets
пришел,
the
но у них
first ball,
6
they connect with
игроков
the second.
сейчас.
Easy enough frags for them, and it will just be the quickest
То есть не
cleanup
факт.
we've ever seen. Borup can't find anything either, despite there being a few
Но
low
если
players.
новый, тогда
That'll be that.
рад
8
тебя
round on the board
приветствовать
for
на канале.
Godsent.
Можешь подписаться, поставить лайк.
Yeah, we see a spam as well through towards
9 человек на
the
трансляции, всем спасибо,
HUD
кто
position.
зашел.
Of course, clearing out the
Виталь или Виталь, как ты?
Tetris or triple
Ты
box.
это? Как оно?
Makes things a
Ставил
whole
на
lot easier,
что-то
especially
или
when they
просто
don't have armor.
смотришь?
Like you said, the full buy.
Ты
Kagan
имеешь в
now
виду
the
топ-игрок
AWP, we know how
какой, Нико? Этот,
influential
что
he
в
can be,
Heroic,
and he
или
takes a
тот,
lot of
что в
ownership
Джету?
on the CT sides as well, being very proactive. I will say though, in the Godsent default, I see teams do this all the time. It's just a pet peeve of mine, but moving up the ladder in lobby is such a dangerous timing to open yourself up to. If you're gonna go on that elevated
Yeah.
angle, just do it from up high instead.
Well, I mean, there are pros for it, I suppose, but it's absolutely a place where you can get caught off easily.
15
It's
человек уже на
generally nice
трансляции.
just to have someone
Спасибо,
watching over the
проходит.
angles, so at least it's a
Кто-то
one-for-one trade at worst.
Mm.
But yeah, heroic utilities low. They'll have to rely on
Хорош
firepower,
Боруб.
and Borup's good for it's down as well with a quick kill. Borup still preventing them from getting into Squeaky Door as he peeks forward, and he knows that they've turned around and gone back to ramp where there is yet another player lying in wait. Nico, such a threat continually, and he will
Oh.
continue to do just that.
Хорошо.
Sprays them down, and with Cadian's assistance, finishes
Чё так
a
2
perfect
раунда
round on
закрыть?
Heroic's board. All 5 players kept alive. All of them went for AUGs. They went for M4s. They went for an AWP. So not even an MP9 save forward, and now they get full utility. Beautiful stuff from Heroic.
Did we see ever a clean round from Godsent where everybody stayed alive? I don't think
Eco.
so.
Not the Eco, the first pistol round
Ah,
on the T side. They kept 5 players alive.
well that hardly counts. Well, no, they died to Tessus.
No.
Oh, no, that
Pistol
was
round.
second
Oh,
pistol,
that was
yeah.
after.
Yeah.
The-
Well, either way.
They did actually. lose,
Надеюсь,
so
не
never mind.
отпустят.
They won the round, but like by the time it finished, the last guy got a few kills. Yeah, you're right.
Ставочка сгорит, если отпустят. Я поставил 2-0 на
Heroic, looking good.
Heroic, что они 2-0
That
закроют.
economic benefit that comes with keeping everybody alive. Gonna create that little buffer. I like the smoke here from Godsent though. Nico denied information as they do set themselves up on the side low. They're looking to take some main control. Seems like Stown pushing past the
Хорошо,
smoke
забрали
does catch
Мейдена.
Madden off guard, and he's able to
Мадена.
escape as a result of the smoke as well.
Начали играть уже,
Nico,
кстати,
Nico.
Виртуса.
Oh,
Выигрывает
no,
1-0.
Nico doesn't quite turn around in time. I think
Ситуация
he's playing on
3
4-3.
4 в 3.
Otherwise, would have definitely seen the player out of the corner of his eye. But 3 versus 4 as a result of that, and as although Crystal is low, he still can stay in the back and see what he can find. Zen good for 1, going for more, but doesn't expect the angle from Stown. And now it's just him and Cadian. Cadian playing from inside the lobby. The bomb is on the
Кидает
other
или
side of
не
that
кидает?
wall.
Ой-ой-ой.
Stico proceeds forward and he's cut off Cadian's head.
А,
With that, it's a
1-1
1v1
ситуация.
and Stown is incredibly low. He has to go for the ace clutch if he wants to win this. And even there, honestly, could just save the AWP and I wouldn't hate him for it.
He is here quickly though. Oh, the spam.
Oh,
Блин.
this could go either way so easily. Stico walking around the smoke and in the reload, Stown is cut
Видно.
off. Oh dear.
4 секунды.
It always is that pesky reload. Gives away such a big sound cue as well. Stico wouldn't just feel confident.
Yeah, not only that as well, he's just jiggle peeking the angle to make sure that Stico doesn't somehow find a timing, sneak his way around. That's what gives up the game. Denied the ace clutch. Such a great performance from Stown as well. Dipping and darting out of fights, though he loses teammates along the way. But there's that impact. The fact they had that clean round, they can reinvest into this for Heroic. And that's a very costly one at that for Godsent. So this is a swing round.
Caden swung Stiko from a little bit of a tree over there as he pushes through. Godsent's own utility is fairly limited as well, so if they want to go for a late side hit later on, it'll be difficult, but Crystal faced off versus too many players will lose his life as well. Back down to a 4 versus 3, but they do lose control over Garage because of it, and that could come back to bite them. Now, Tessis is repositioning because of it. He's holding a very tight little angle next to the generator before deciding to drop back down to the locker room. Martin inside the side already. They weren't expecting it. He walked all the way through squeak in. Borup is eliminated. Now, 3v3, and Martin is expecting Cadian, but not quite the right place to put his crosshair at. Now, the T side has been detected. Molotov in vents will secure them forward, and Zen's found the equalizer.
Cadian was siphoned off by the Molotov for just a few seconds, and ooh, the position here from Farlig around the other side of the door. This does get cleared, but can be often overlooked. Oh, Farlig actually committing to the swing off of no information, no sound cues made. Zen now left to clutch. 34 HP, they're doubling up together as well. He has positioned himself in an off angle. They may not clear. Up and down he'll go. Zen the first, the second as well. Zen, what a clutch to pull off on such low health and bailing Godsent out of a really tricky situation.
And that's why Colzera loves that angle. He used it against Godsent in the DreamHack Open as well to a lot of great use. And I like that Zen himself has picked that one up for his own clutch rounds in the 1v2. It's so difficult to cater to as well. And Heroic, although you're thinking, yeah, they're swinging out 2 players at a time, that should be easy enough. Seeing the head pop up is very difficult. There's a reason why whack-a-mole is a little bit hard. And now Godsent, they're up to 10 rounds. Heroic as well, with their money being where it is, unless they're able to pull off a second eco miracle. This should be the equalizer. Godsent, this is why I said you don't want to pick Nuke against them. They can do so much, and Martin right now playing from where Stiko
Я вернулся, спойлера лучше не надо.
Has made A side his stomping grounds. Watches for them pushing in.
И так тут нервы.
Well, it'll be helping him out just a little bit, and
но что-то у меня уже есть подозрение, что Годсенты могут и закрыть эту карту. 17 человек на трансляции. Всем спасибо, кто зашел, кто смотрит. Ставьте лайк, подписывайтесь на канал. Мне будет очень приятно. Надо попить.
Very likely. That 0.1% chance. You know, I still have my doubts, but there's no real issues. And I think Mouse's analyst actually, he made a blog post recently where he discusses the top 5 hardest teams to prepare against.
Я поставил на 2-0 на Heroic.
Because they are so sporadic, so unpredictable based on them changing not only who wields the AWP, but how they
Хорошо все сначала начали.
A lot of that comes down to feel or how what information that players feel like they're getting at their specific spots. It makes them so hard to predict.
Закупочный раунд. Может, кто-то и смогут.
Also another factor, which is that Godsent do not get invited to as many tournaments. And they have a real in-game leader, so they can really prep. Now, I'll hold that thought as Nico's waiting for them to maybe peek out into him. Not sure if they quite heard him being tagged up, and as he gets on top of the red container, he will be found. Zen to take him down. Farlig now inside the side as he goes aggressively forward. Borup, good for the kill, but his HP is basically non-existent. And he will be falling soon enough. But Cadian in the meanwhile has already found one, and the rest of the team has come through to back up the A side. Seiko left alone, 1v4, makes it 3. But can he make it all the way through?
Отлично.
On the rafters, he's
Хорошо.
not going to check it. Tessis finishes them off. Godsent seemed like they had that round neatly tied up in a knot, but Borup winning the duel versus Farlig gives them so much more time to rotate Cadian and Tessis over. Suddenly, things get dicey.
And this is the spot they find themselves in.
Не надо спойлеров.
An awkward buy. They have players that can invest. We've seen a couple of them already commit.
Virtus.a играет он против Висла. Показывает счет 1-1 у них. Как-то долго они раунды играют. Может, конечно, пауза какая-то была.
Godsent do sometimes go for these half investments where they keep some money around. This is a bit more of an awkward spot where
Да, надеюсь, они этот и заберут.
The rifles are out, but this is something that we have to highlight, especially on Nuke.
Так, всем спасибо, кто на трансляции. Подписывайтесь на канал, ставьте лайки, мне будет приятно. Спасибо, что заходите, спасибо, что смотрите.
See if that does turn out to be the case, or whether Godsent continue with these different setups in the early round, but still working the map rather slowly. See Crystal just out with the Deagle by himself.
Ну блин, начало не самое лучшее, блин. Вообще ужасное. Начало, что продолжение. Сейчас, наверное, даже если план поставят, они просто уйдут на сейв. Они уже сейвят. Сейчас еще не засейвят, они...
Actually, Borup creeps through, Crystal falls short, but that's the most expendable player on your team. That's the only guy who doesn't have a rifle. You trade him for information of one of the remaining two players? Hell yes, absolutely. At least that's what I tell myself every time I die.
It's like, I've got info, I've created space. Yeah. Go, take A, quick.
The good old Dota ways. But even so, this is really important. Now, Borup, him getting even a single kill over here is nice to have. Let's not make any mistake about it. Godsent, although they're doing really well, they're still far behind as far as the, you know,
кстати, напишите, как вам слышно этих комментаторов и как меня. Может что-то поменять.
So, economy is important. Let's not take anything away from that. But I wanted to quickly add something to your point, Michael, where you were talking about how hard it is to prepare for Godsent. Let's not forget that Crystal has taken several different lineups to majors. He's taken several different lineups to top 20.
Ну, если ставка у тебя зайдет, красавчик. Ты поставил только на карту или на полностью на игру, на Godsent?
That you know for sure, you give this guy a week and a half, he'll have an entirely new playbook on a map. So how are you ever going to prepare against that? It's just not possible.
Да, я просто не знаю, как тогда сделать, чтобы вам карту было видно, в какую часть экрана поставить вебку. Там, в принципе, по карте ничего не ясно. Вчера тоже на стриме не было карты видно. Это какая-то еще карта тупая у трансляции. Мне же сдвинуть сейчас. Я могу и вообще уменьшить сейчас. Так.
Probably doesn't quite have someone in heaven, but that could be a bad call. There's two players waiting for the push from Seiko to come in. Seiko, unless he hard clears these angles very slowly, should be overrun by them. But does he actually creep forward? Heroic, this is the ultimate game of chicken. Who clocks first? And Seiko's waiting for some backup to come in before he can really go in, and oh, they're going to be peeking forward into two players. Martin's already found the first as well, and with this, the Molotov can't delay them long enough. Cadian will fall next, and although he's able to get a kill from beyond the grave, it's Tessis who's next to descend into the grave with him.
Я начинаю нервничать. Надо было ставить, наверное, 2-1. Даже каф был побольше.
At the most crucial of points will be up in rounds 13 to 12. This is the 2-0 possibility I was talking about.
Absolutely. And we talked a little bit about how they were maybe sometimes missing Zen, Stiko. They're right up top alongside pretty much everybody from Godsent is contributing, which is what's the crazy thing. And even though Stiko doesn't find a kill in this round, he is the most influential player in deciding how this round plays out.
Перелайка на трансляции, спасибо.
Control so early that Godsent just sit and wait for Heroic to look for information, because
мне бы было лучше, конечно, чтобы забрали Heroic.
Start making their way towards the lower bomb site. Those are things that Heroic need to know, and especially in a 5-on-5, you cannot hope to just hold on to your bomb sites in the late round when Godsent are likely setting up for an execute. So they go, look for information towards hell, and it's a trap.
No, I absolutely love this, and I think it's really important that you're pointing out that Stiko and Zen are doing as well as they are, because traditionally these two players, when they were at their peak,
вывести ставку это типа что? Я могу текстом написать, но просто оно, но некрасиво смотрится как-то на трансляции. Я поставил 2-0 именно за Heroic, что именно Heroic выиграют 2-0.
And now outside, where there's this much pressure, there's two players already waiting inside Secret. Question is, though, and always will be, do they go into Secret? Tessus on the P250, awkward
Сейчас бы Tessus
angle
забрал.
as
Ой,
any,
хорош.
but he'll be cleared out, but still wins the deal. Crystal taken down, AK is recoverable without exposing him to anyone else, and he will be able to pick it up as he moves forward. So a bit more firepower and suddenly a lot more rest for the Godsent side, but Stiko quick to trade and equalize down,
Хорош
taking the
ставим.
duel and will win it. Stiko to fall soon after, and it's a 4 versus 3.
And they're trying to contain them towards outside where possible. Fast rotations available towards B as well if Godsent had made their way down towards Secret, but they're wrapping. Nico very prepared for this. A deep angle to clear.
Ой, отлично, отлично. Еще и бамбу спалил. Ой, хорошо. Блин. 32 хп, в принципе, наверное, нету повода для беспокойства, но позиции у Heroic'ов, походу, ужасные. Я вообще не понимаю, где это они.
Here for Heroic. We saw Zen bail them out in a 1v2 previously. Maybe he could get it done again.
Отлично.
Oh, no.
Еще и бомбу не дали заплантить. Это получается, что еще где-то 2 раунда будет у Godsent'ов с деньгами. Получается, Heroic полуэко взяли.
And that's one of the reasons why I always am a little bit hesitant to have Crystal be the player.
Эта трансляция еще и подвисает. Не знаю, видно ли вам, что она подвисает, но у меня какие-то подлагивания.
Look, that's a crazy off-fight. You're never checking that in all fairness. But that is also where you get punished. So it's down. Now has to just wait for the terrorist sign rather to make their move. And the T's, they're setting up for outside smokes later on, I believe.
Да, получается, да, last buy. Ну, я не знаю, как они так закупаются, у них же там было по 7000. Ну, блин, ужасное начало для Heroic'ов.
Crystal was the third. The sudden contact is working out wonders for them. 5 versus 2 in Tessus and Nico. Welcome to save territory, I guess.
Уже уходят на сейв Heroic, блин.
Really
Зачем так плотно?
So it has to be a 5-on-2.
Еще и походу не потеряют ганы свои. У них уже будет до конца катки закуп.
Dynamic plays on the CT side because being stagnant, especially when you've got a firm IGL like you said on Crystal, that can really play into their hands. But they try and do something slightly different. You can see them postured up over at the door. We just see the corpses. We didn't see the frags. But Stiko's in a great spot. Whether or not he consistently gets 2 in that position, that can be thrown into a bit more question. But so much impact being found by Stiko, particularly on this T side, and Godsent again will find themselves in a lead.
And it's not just a lead, Michael. It's also.
Сейчас может за паузу что-то Heroic еще судят и может заберут все-таки эту карту. Я думаю, это если это их пик, это же их пик. Зайдем на Хаул ТВ.
If you don't win this round, you have to save 3 players. If you're saving 3 players, then I'd personally be really surprised on my own with the way Godsent's been playing. They've generally been able to aggress forward and punish quickly. So
да, это их пик, они же должны забирать это.
Obviously, that's not what you're thinking over here. If you're heroic, right now, all you're thinking is how the hell do we get out of this bad situation?
Явно что-то знают. Тем более это походу лучшая их карта. Мне память. Меня память не подводит. 18 человек на стриме, флешкой промахивается Кейден.
Okay, but Bork was still doing really well initially, getting some great entry frags, doing some great stuff. Now he's 13 and 19, he's quieted down like nothing else. Tessus as well hasn't had the best of games. It really has been Stown and Nico who've been carrying the show, and even Nico, well, he's kind of like a fading actor. He's in his twilight years at this point, but Stiko, maybe he can be the one to take all the fame, all the glory for himself, make a comeback in his career.
Уже 19 человек на трансляции, всем Спасибо, кто заходит, спасибо, кто смотрит. Но я ставлю на таком сайте, что там нету такого продавать. Нету возврата денег. О, ну нормально, нормально начало для хероиков. Еще и Тезис спалил кого-то, Боров забрал. Кто еще и почти слился, кто это там играет. О, блин, какой тайминг. Ой.
Beautiful stuff. The first headshot will allow them the bomb plant. With this down, he can't really help out until it's too late. Martin sees him as well. Now that his position's given away, things are much more dicey. CTs will try to go great. They do have some offensive utility on its down.
Причем Зен красный.
Question is, how do they want to use it?
Красный, лоу хпшный. Спалили кого-то, там ставно спалили. Ой-ой-ой, уже 2 в 2. Успевает или не успевает? Хорош. Отлично. Уже 22 человека. Спасибо всем, кто заходит. Спасибо. Подписывайтесь, ставьте лайки, пишите в чат, на кого вы ставили на этот матч. Отлично, отлично хероики здесь разобрались. Это пик хероиков. Это их лучшая карта. Вообще. Но пока что потно.
He's been going for these more individual plays. This time he has his team behind him, but they're
Ой,
not enough
отлично,
plays to trade.
отлично.
And Nico has done one
5-3.
better, a secondary kill. All the
Уже
meanwhile,
2,
Canadians applying
5.
pressure. This is a very deflated Godsent. The round just after losing a potential clutch comeback. Stiko now left in a 1-on-5.
Чтобы не дать засейвить это.
Heroic. Good old plot armor comes in. And they played this round out beautifully. They really counteract Godsent, and it looked like Godsent did somewhat go into autopilot for this one. But I'd love to see a time.
Да, у Godsent нет денег, но блин. Last round. И по-любому будут какие-то там диглы, маки, а с диглами, если более смотреть на их статы, не все нормально играют. Плюс по игре тоже видно, что они не особо проседают по игре. Ну там только за сторону, да, КТ когда играли. У Хероиков тоже что-то игра за КТ не лучше пошла. Надеюсь, заберут эту карту. Но если они так потеют на своем пике, там, наверное, на пике соперника еще будет жестче.
But it's just not to be. Heroic, that protagonist, you're right, the plot armor.
Сейчас бы после тайминга забрать. Ой, если заберут, это будет просто отлично. Ой-ой. Походу уже не заберут. Забрали, отлично. Это даже не будет бронежилета у него, это отлично. Один калаш и 4 пистолета.
Up to 15. They may have had to go a bit too close, but it seems like they are ready to execute. But there's still one final hurdle. There's still one final set of Godsent players that can walk past and walk through. And we know this can be the hardest point. Sometimes
Промора нету только у Стико.
Sometimes teams can fold.
Ой-ой-ой. Еще такой радар непонятный, вообще непонятно, кто на Б стоит, кто на А. Сейчас время, наверное, больше играет на Хероиков. Поэтому чем дольше они выходят,
well. So
Godsent, тем нам лучше.
this is very much going to be a good
Но они уже
old-fashioned
походу фастом
5-pound
сейчас
battle.
просто
Tessus
выйдут.
is about to
Ой,
be
хорошо,
acquainted with a lot
хорошо,
of them.
ставим.
Top and Stown takes contact, and Tessus will now
Ай-яй-яй.
aggress forward, but Zen's brought him down. Stown as well.
Ой,
He's running out of
блин.
bullets. He pulls out the pistol, but Farlig will get the kill and the advantage with it. Modern 2 HP, sure, but that's still 2 HP too many for the side of Heroic. Zen waiting for the beat to come through. His angle is perfect. No one ever pre-fires this, and if they do, then well, I'm just wrong. Heroic. The bomb's not planted yet. But
То есть там нас сейчас заберут, а Стика забирать. Ой, блин. Но бомба не ставится. Ой, отлично, отлично. Успевает бомбу поставить. 17 хп против 51. Еще и ту позицию чекать, которую надо.
There's no way Borup checks this angle immediately, and immediately you see Farling taking it to overtime.
Как такое можно было отдать?
Armor isn't real for Heroics, not quite in that fantasy, and Godsent aren't quite out of it just yet. Zen, what a way to recover after his missed shot. Beautiful stuff from him.
And those are the rounds that Godsent, somehow or another, top teams or not, they take these scrappy buys so consistently. It is a dicey one. It comes down to a one-on-one. They had the B-bomb site for so long, and they never got the bomb planted. Okay, what is that from Crystal? Straight to the overtime. He spammed one through a
теряют кого-то Кэдди, она не теряет.
They still have some presence outside, so Stown can keep things contained. Does he get cleared at this angle? Oh, they're leaving him, and he's letting them pass initially. He's lining up more than one
Ой,
frag.
хорошо ставим, отлично разобрались.
Shut down outside from Heroic, straight into the overtime. Stiko left the clutch.
Хорошо.
Stiko left.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Woo. What a good, comfortable read there for Heroic. Sure, they lose that first player, but they keep cool-headed. They don't overface, they don't overspray. And that is
Жаль, что, конечно, не закрыли они без овертаймов. Надеюсь, сейчас хоть на овертаймах вывезут. И моликом промахнулись. Мог забрал.
Blow for blow, swing for swing, and Heroic, they are still falling all across the board. No perfect round so far from Godsent, but maybe this can be the first one. Borup and Tessus, 2 versus 5. Heroic, more often than not, have chosen to save in these situations. They've not been able to go for the same kind of insane clutches that Godsent has. And now as Borup moves in, Tessus has found Modern. Borup looks to drop down immediately.
Так, куда идут? А, на А идут как раз. Ой, хорошо, Боруп, хорошо. Да не читается, да, хук увидел. Не согласитесь, очень плотная катка. Сейчас, походу, на Б ливнет просто. Ой-ой, заберет.
16-16. 2 versus 5, and hearts are broken in the exact same fashion of the 2v4 earlier.
God, what a recovery. What a recovery there from Heroic. They lose everybody in those opening duels. It comes to a 2-on-5, they bring it.
Как думаете, сколько допов будет? Одна партия или больше? Или меньше? А, ну меньше никак.
Jeez, it is so close between these two teams. Either of them can run away with a round.
Ой, Кедян, не пикай. Че, не разменяли. Ника красавчик, но... То есть горит сейчас.
Heroic, number 1 team in the world, 17-3.
Oh my
in
god.
their overall record, 85% win rate. And Godsent's kind of walking over them right now. I wouldn't know
Уже не
walking over them
заберут.
a bit much, but still.
Но у них
Definitely
так
much more
хорошо
competitive
и
than
шло.
Heroic thought it would be.
Сейчас, если так же пойдет, как
Yeah, they pick into the
основное
smoke,
время,
full
тогда
confidence, even knowing that it's a good map for Godsent.
даже 3 раунда, чтобы взяли, чтобы я вообще не переживал.
Yeah. And this is the scary thing, right? We talked about how Godsent just need these players to activate. They have come to play.
Yep.
Парига уже почти убили, 13 хп оставили только. Интересно, этот Зен прочитается или не прочитается? Не читается. Он сейчас такого там может наделать. Хорошо. Ой-ой. Уже 1 в 3 остался.
And he's in a 1v3, picks up the op. He's been good with it before. But can he get it done over here? Can he prevent Godsent from getting to game point?
Там еще и вентили, да, я так понимаю? Кто-то сидит. Тут Кристал.
Doesn't quite catch the timing, and that'll be CT's having one more angle in their favor. They're not exposing themselves, and Farleg to close.
И все, теперь нету права на ошибку.
What a round from Godsent. 18-16 Heroic. Now not only on the back foot, but they're facing off against game.
Если сливают раунд, тогда минус 3 бакса.
And that's something that Godsent didn't pull out in regulation. They didn't flank through the smoke. They didn't try it. And Heroic don't honor that. They go for a faster play. They're hoping to bypass it if it even is a possibility.
Я не знаю, если даже сейчас эта ставка у меня не зайдет, я не знаю, ставить ли еще и на эту же, на это событие. Если мне там следующее тоже не зайдет, это что, 2 ставки на одном событии не зашло. Будет очень обидно. Я просто уже даже не знаю, на что ставить. Но чтобы интереснее смотреть было, то да, нужно было бы ставить.
You can't be happy with how this has materialized so far. Borup. Smoke's getting ready for the triple smoke outside take. Of course, this one is more for a mini control rather than anything else. And then, I mean, we outlined on CT side how effective he was in outside, playing from outside of mini. This time, we'll have to wait to see whether it's still true. Borup stepped up in a single round of overtime so far. Can it be 2? Nico as well, down towards lower. Could be troublesome to deal with, but at 45 seconds, that smoke pops. Perfect timing. Nico creeps in. Then on the other side.
Я вот эти пистолетки вообще не люблю угадывать. Вообще не пистолетки, такие там, кто там выиграет 3-й раунд, там 5-й, 6-й и так далее. Это просто реально лотерея, это очень сложно прочитать. Ой, сейчас забирают. О. Отлично, остаются 4 в 2. Уже 2 в 2. Хоть бомбу поставили, это уже приятно. Инфа, судя по всему, есть. Ой-ой. Мы сейчас вдвоем просто пикнут. Хорошо.
So worried about where Stiko can come from. Stiko.
Ой-ой-ой.
Stiko moving forward. Cadence missed the shot. Stiko gets a kill. 19-16. Godsent take game number 1.
Минус ставка просто.
The strongest map in Heroic's pool, and it has been upset and stolen away by Godsent.
Причем я был уверен, что здесь будет 2-0. 32 человека на трансляции. Спасибо, кто заходит, спасибо, кто смотрит. Это вы уже зашли. Под конец карты. Сейчас перерыв будет, походу. Вот на что мне поставить?
That actually works in their advantage.
Я даже сейчас не знаю, на что ставить.
They actually seem a little bit more timid, a little bit more scared to take those opening duels, and Godsent are loving that.
And I mean, these two teams were so evenly matched that it seemed like storylines were even going the same way. It's so ridiculous because in the first half, Heroic wins themselves an eco round. In the second half, Godsent wins themselves an eco round, and that's the one to get them to overtime. Then in second half, we see Zen losing a 2v4 right at the very end of it after bringing it all the way back. Then we see, on the other hand, Same thing happens for Heroic in overtime. They lose a 2 versus 5 that they bring down to a 1v1. Then Stound's able to get into a
У меня где-то пропал этот, как его, курсор. Вы не знаете, как его вернуть? Реально где-то тупо пропал курсор.
It's not quite game over. We've still got another 1 or maybe 2 maps to go. Overpass is up next, and that one will be Godsent's map pick. So we'll be back.
Что делать, если пропал курсор?
Because why would you want to be anywhere else when there's this fantastic Counter-Strike to be had? We'll be back in just a bit with the rest of the Elite Invitational.
Появился. Блин, и вот что ставить? А здесь Virtus.pro вообще. Есть у меня $6,5. Здесь Virtus.pro выигрывают. Нужно как-то хотя бы себе этих $3 вернуть. Можно изи бабки поднять, если я поставлю $6. Но только сколько это будет? 20 центов я подвину. Это вообще третья игра. Колесо мне не надо. Так. Вообще реклама. Скажите, может, кто на что ставить? Мне вообще сейчас Godsent там дают больше шансов. Вообще в целом на матч. Может поставить на Heroicов? Может вернут бабки мне. Например, вторая карта. Вторая карта тоже на Heroicов каф меньше. Ну и что делать, что делать? Может уже потом в лайве поставить. Просто реально. Думаешь, будет тотал больше? Посмотри сейчас какой КФ. Да. Вот. 1,63, я не знаю. Мне надо просто ставить так, чтобы вернуть себе $3. Давайте, может, поставим, что первые 3 раунда выиграют эти. Думаю, Godsent. Там что, пистолетку нужно забрать? Можно рискнуть вот, в принципе, на это. Если я поставлю даже $2. Поставлю 2,650 на то, что выиграют Godsent. Как вы думаете? Здесь нет. Почему оно как-то... Ну, я не знаю, какая там сторона будет. Но, блин. Если что, $4 еще останется. Но я надеюсь. Будем топить за Godsent. Там на победу очень... Типа мне 1,56, это мне что-то надо ставить такое. Здесь посмотрим. Ну да, это чисто лотерею я сейчас играю, блин. А еще и не поставилось. Что думаете, ставить просто на победу Heroicов или что? Ну я вообще в растерянности. Что делать, на что ставить? Ставлю просто на хероиков. Сколько? $3, да? И как я поставил на них. Я только 1,5 могу выиграть. А мне нужно 3 возвращать. Поэтому нужно такое ставить. Если думаете поставить, что Godsent даже 10 раундов не заберу, думаете, заберут 10 раундов Godsent или нет? Рискнуть. Поставить. Сейчас даже $3, да, поставить? Может сейчас Godsent, эти хероики на морали просто. Можно рискнуть и вот выиграть $10. Давайте, наверное, так и поступим. Я даже поставлю 2,650. Либо давайте не будем рисковать, просто вернем то, что да, я поставил. Ой. Ну вот мы сидим и думаем, заберут или не заберут. Половина походу думает, что заберут, а половина, что не заберут. Я хочу поставить, что Godsent не выиграют 10 раундов. Давайте поставим $650 на то, что Godsent не выиграют. Если проиграют, так уж и будет. Ну, я надеюсь. Так даже в плюсе буду. Уже дороги обратно нету. А, у меня уже стоит что-то там, и оно не может поставиться. Походу я больше не могу на это событие. Что я поставил? Может я поставил на Godsent? Так. Где это посмотреть? Так. Там уже все понятно. Ну, я поставил Heroic 2.0. Они уже проиграли. Что она? Что она мне? Я походу не могу на этот матч просто теперь. Ну, непонятно, просто не могу поставить. Я, получается, не могу поставить. Что мне делать? И ставки прекратились. Какая-то вот эта странная контора, вот этот сайт, где я ставлю. Постоянно вот здесь закрыты ставки, то нельзя поставить. Что это за бред вообще? Просто здесь плюс, что я все это типа с ежедневки ставлю. Не вливаю деньги. У меня есть сейчас 6 баксов. Я их могу вывести. Я хочу нож. Поэтому я вот это играю. Почему нельзя ставить? Может это типа говорит судьба, что не надо ставить. Сейчас 12. Только 12 просмотров у нас. Спасибо всем, кто смотрит. Что уже начинается. Не начинается. Так. Это что-то не грузит, или это с сайтом, может, проблемы какие-то. Да, не могу я, короче, поставить на этот матч. Надо ставить на матч по ходу Виртусов. Ну, у Виртусов здесь очень все понятно. Сколько у них, какой сейчас? 10-8 они проигрывают. Уже 10. Вторую карту пикнули эти. Годсенты. Да, они уже играть начнут. Можно, в принципе, сейчас угадать, что черная будет. Ну да, героик вообще, да, за КТ вообще практически не показали. И не зашло здесь. Какой-то такой аналитик странный. О, открылись оставки. Ну что, на что ставить? Напишите, пожалуйста. Я хочу рискнуть и поставить, что они Godsent не выиграют 10 раундов на вторую карту. Можно 3 кэф словить. Так, если поставить $1,5, получается. Ставь на Mad Lions. Зачем мне Mad Lions? Мне нужно эту карту. Мы же это будем смотреть. А это я вообще поставил что-то. Это не то. Ставил тотал меньше 25 раундов. Можно вообще поставить, что хероики. А уже опять все ставки. Привет, Мэн. Что, будем подниматься или нет? Я уже в минусе сегодня на $3. Меньше скольки ставить? Вот нету даже как поставить. Я реально хочу вот поставить, что Godsent не выиграют 10 раундов. На 8к рублей считаю. Почему ты в минусе? Ты выиграл вчера или ты сегодня что-то поставил? Ну, можно, кстати, звук добавить.
Selkeästi konnektorin päästä jonkinlaisia
Это вообще какой-то испанский.
Keeping his retreat bots primarily back towards divider and connector, so he's actually fairly lucky that Godsent aren't going for a faster pace play, because at this stage
Я ставил
no one's
Heroic
actually
2-0,
bled
уже не
through on
зашло, они
Heroic's
уже
side
одну
into
карту
be short.
проиграли.
And as a result of that, if Godsent just wanted to contest him inwards, his trajectory back cannot be through connector, and that makes it a little bit more
Почему
tricky.
на Godsent такой кайф?
And we expect this to be the standard set here for Godsent. They love a little bit of connector control, opening up their options. See Borp force backs down and Borp combining for a couple of frags though in there. Eventually going to get tracked down. Zen hot on the heels of the second. Tessus is very low,
Там
so he just has to keep running, but
$2,500.
his pathway's been blocked off. Zen's gonna get
Желание
there too
было.
quickly, and that's an easy enough kill to find.
Quick equalization, and with 40 seconds left on the clock, Crystal having a lot of utility makes this incredibly tricky. Now, keep an eye on
Не
Cadian,
хочется
because he's
ставить.
going to be the big one for this map. Godsent, I've said it before, I'll say it again, they're very much like old school
Поставилось.
They're very happy to rotate back.
Будем
when there's
смотреть.
30
Это
seconds
нам
left on the clock, but Cadian is
20...
expecting it. Smoke
Сколько?
goes over,
25
Zen
раундов,
takes
надо,
contact,
чтобы
and with the
16-8
Molotov there as
закончилось.
well, it seems like Cadian might not be as useful as I thought he would be. They're going back towards the A bomb site, but Nico's
Не
dropped
знаю,
the
уже,
bomb, and Nico's going for more. Crystal
в
will
принципе,
trade.
похрен.
Yes, the USB chiming in nice and true, but down. Still good for the kill.
11 человек на трансляции. Спасибо, кто остался. Спасибо, кто смотрит. Ставьте лайк, подписывайтесь на канал. Если я добавил виджет, что если вы подпишетесь, у вас там ваш ник высветится на экране. Там, ну, там не очень сильно, но высветится. Я также хотел поставить, что Godsent выиграют первые 3 раунда. Но походу хорошо, что не поставил. Сейчас поставил на тотал меньше 24,5 раундов. За на второй карте. Поставил $2,5 могу выиграть там. Ой, поставил $1,5 могу выиграть 4,5 что-то.
Certainly still the chance. Stiko gonna get dropped nice and early on. He was the solitary player sent over towards B. Tessus, though, in a very difficult position. There's going to be a couple angles he needs to be concerned about. That smoke doesn't provide full coverage. Cadian can now pick it up, but he's low.
Cadian, давай забирай.
Needed another kill over there, and with Zen finding two, suddenly things are very expensive at the same
Надеюсь, они
time.
вообще 16-0 закроют, чтобы я вообще без всяких нервов забрал карточку. Вернуть себе бабки, те, что проиграл тут $3. И дальше себе нормально переженячить. Там на третью карту уже поставить. Да-да.
Borb at least segments them. He's outside of the connector, he can peer and spot
Скажи,
the
как
feet if
ты
they do
оказался в
decide to
минусе на
go back
8К
towards the B
рублей?
site. I mean, 20 seconds.
Да-да, это вообще
And
была
they haven't
жесть.
really made a move.
Я же тоже думал, типа, хух, слава богу, типа.
They've got a decent amount of
14 сейчас
utility
вообще
if they
норм.
wanted to bring that into the next round. It's a bit of an odd choice to make, though.
Или... Плюс там на допах тоже был один этот...
This changes the buying
Как
pattern
его...
so much on the T side.
На допах обидный раунд, когда там один в один остались.
Okay, I'll play devil's advocate. You've got a Tech-9, you've got a Deagle, and you've got 2 weapons. So, theoretically, this could
А ты
just be
что
4
поставил,
players
что
having
хероики
weapons,
первую карту
or at
заберут?
least having kill power. So,
You're putting a lot of stock in winning this round, though.
I guess, but at the same time, it's also that Crystal has himself an MP9, so if he gets a kill, maybe 2 kills... I mean, it's a stretch, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this one materializes, especially when you consider they don't have Kevlar on Farlig or Stiko, so as much stock as they're putting in, it's still the good old
Как это full map
half
заберут?
buy, really. So we'll have to wait to see how this goes.
По 2-0 что выиграют? Я тоже поставил 2-0.
Cute little boost, does get spotted out. Slowly some information gathered that Godsent are within middle. Tessus as well will make things a lot more difficult if Godsent decide to approach, set up for any sort of an execute. They only have one smoke, one flash, and a Molotov. You can see they're very conscious of connector. Tessus still not moving a muscle within it though.
Там он челы ловил 1К в 10, 1.6. 165 монет. Понял, ты же вчера сколько? 120 поднял?
Cadian spots out a player now, spraying through the smoke. Is unable to really connect on anyone. Does some damage, but not the kill. 40 seconds on the clock. Rotations can still come through, and like you said before, Tessus
Я бы на твоем месте нож выводил бы уже. Или тебе не нужен нож? Я тоже сегодня утром апнул до $11 себе баланс.
Reload is needed, but he's not going for it. 3 bullets in the gun, pulls out the USB instead. Crystal finally to find him. and picks up the farmers for his trouble.
Так, ну надо, чтобы
A 3
героики
versus
забирали
4
этот
with 2
раунд.
farmers is doable, but it
Чем
means
больше
Varda
раундов они
to come away with the
проиграют,
Nico. And as he goes forward, that's exactly what happens. Then
ужас.
finds another and the second. Suddenly a 2 versus 1.
Как
M4
такое
recovered.
слить?
Martin has Kevlar as well. Nico, no utility. So Godsent might be very close to stealing away around, but Nico has something to say about it. 1 versus 1 sees the shadow.
Увидел. Хорошо, ху.
And he will find the kill.
Но всё
There
равно,
you go.
блин.
But oh so close. Oh so close.
Yeah, that is such a
Подождал, и
dangerous
там же
round.
по-любому
Nico surviving on
ножи
28
есть и за
has
меньше,
to
чем
come
за
up big with a
60
1-on-2.
монет.
And time was running
Я
low
себе
there
вообще
for
хочу
Godsent.
какой-то хотя
Had
бы
they
за
met any of
70
these speed
долларов.
bumps, the hurdles over on that B site, had they lost a couple players on the initial push towards B, that could have certainly gone the other way. In a far more convincing fashion, but it keeps the money low for
Кто знает,
Heroic.
напишите, какая сторона сильная здесь у Хероиков и какая сторона у Godsent. Я так понял, если это пикнули Godsent и они начали ЗТ, значит это их сильная сторона.
Crystal, but full nade sets for the Godsent players, so they can work the map appropriately. Crystal now taking some short water control alongside Stiko.
Сейчас получается раунд за экономику.
Nico down to
1 за
33.
2. Поэтому как раз стоит кто у нас.
Does a little bit less damage than I thought it would, but even so, Cadian's found the first. It's Martin to fall. Cadian took the peek out into connector.
Подписался на канал, я не видел кто, но спасибо за подписку.
Afterwards, now Tess's positioning is incredibly important, but Stiko's found Stown, and that actually makes things slightly more touchy for the CT side. They don't know where they have to go, but they'll at least know they're rotating back.
Ситуация у нас 4 в 4, причем по ХП примерно тоже ровная ситуация. Боро позабирает Кристалл. Один только Нико на Б-планте. Ой-ой, хорошо. 2 красных у Godsent. Осталось. Вот сейчас бы какую-то хаешечку. Пик здесь. Это пик Godsent. Жаль, что нету хаешечки. Диффуза хотя бы. Даже диффузов нет. Ой, как они на морозе сидят просто. Ой-ой-ой. Хорошо. Успевают? А есть диффуза. Фух. Хорошо, хорошо. Плохо, конечно, что бомбу да поставили.
Yeah, Farley could have definitely turned that round on its head had they not been all too concerned about that deep monster play.
Да, красавчики вообще. Мне нужно, чтобы чем меньше раундов катки, тем лучше. Мне почему-то вот трансляция лагает, но я не знаю почему. Не, я поставил на total меньше 24,5 раундов. Это получается total меньше 25 раундов. Максимально, что должны набирать одна из команд, это 8 раундов. У нас 8, короче. Надеюсь, так оно и будет. Хорошо. У нас эти отдельно трансляции. Всем, кто подписывается, кто лайки ставит. Мне очень приятно это. Уже 6 лайков на трансляции.
Cadian's waiting for them to come in, and Nico's found the first. Cadian follows up right there, leaving just Crystal alive. With only 2 questions to ask. The first is, can he get this done? And the second, as he dies, is, what's a Goomba Stomp?
Получается, только я стримлю Godsent.
Okay, I didn't know what they were called. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know what they were called. I just called them tiny mushrooms, but fair enough.
Or turtles.
Or turtles, that is true. Simpler times those were. And Godsent is now hailing back to the simpler times of Nuke, which admittedly were not too simple. Heroic started off very well on Nuke as well, and then Godsent was able to bring things back on their terrorist side. Unfortunately, I don't know if Overpass will be the same.
Ну, можно будет когда-то посидеть в Дискорде, но не сейчас. Можно даже будет с тобой в КС пойти, в принципе, когда-то как-нибудь. Я вот перед этим стримом сегодня скатал прайсит 4 катки. Выиграл вроде все.
Heroic, it is a 5-0 start, but it hasn't been the most comfortable as of yet. You can see that reflected on their economy. Only 2k in the pockets of a few players on Heroic. They've been dealing the damage. Katie in high pressure situation does get forced back, has to find an
но я не
exit,
могу
and
уже
he's
апнуть
actually
себе.
lingering
У меня
around, trying to rattle
почти
off a couple
четвертый
shots
был,
of
но я не
field.
мог
Could
себя
have gotten
апнуть,
caught
то
in
тиммейт
transition,
постоянно
but
какие-то
Godsent missed
дауны
the timing.
попадаются. По-моему, у меня калаш с винками, но я не играю.
Still plenty of time on the clock and plenty of players on the map. Tessis peeks out and he is overwhelmed. 4 players peeking into him in the
Главное, чтобы
toilet.
еще эко не слили. Ну хотя
It's a
по
little
хп
bit
там
mushy
вообще
for him,
проблемы.
Crystal. Please pass the M4 over to someone who has more HP than you. But, there you go. Thank you, Crystal. I appreciate that one. But the full rotation now
Третий
for
трейн
T4
будет.
might
Вот здесь
actually
под
catch
радаром
Heroic
пишет, а
off
вам за
guard
моей
ahead.
камерой
They've
не видно
not got
просто.
anyone inside the B bomb site itself, though I
У
do
тебя
believe
какое
Boris
звание,
is
какой
playing from
левел?
Heaven. Minimap can be a bit odd even on Overplus. There's some verticality involved. And yeah, so they're rotating back. 50 seconds on the clock.
5-3 счет?
Godsent will
Зачем
at
ты нам
least have made
спалил?
their way through Monster Tunnel for, to say the very, very bare minimum. But Borup's scouting position is really what matters. Kaden gets the first. Borup is still moving forward, trying to get the duel, but he can't decide. And he falls because of it. Again, we find ourselves in a 3v3 as Stown at least equalizes, but the bomb is down. And Kaden, he can't really find them.
Ну как они это, если это реально 5-3, то как слили, а это просто херойки.
Will be creeping forward. Even if Farley falls, Stown can be traded, and indeed he is. 2v2 with another gun recovered. Both M4s alive. AWP in the hands of Kaden makes it so tricky, and the flashbang's great. Stiko off the back of Stown finds the flash. Cadian though in a 1v1 still finding it out, getting aggressive inside the corner of B short. He goes and he's spotted out, but he can't get the kill. Now faking out the defuse, and it's Godsent who will get the round even if Cadian gets away.
Это уже тревожный звоночек, но пожалуйста не... Третий левел.
Because it makes not only the
5-3.
approach from
Походу все-таки
Heroic
5-3.
slowed down significantly because of it.
Да ну лучше реально не спойлерите в чате, пожалуйста.
So it pushes Kaden into that 2 versus 1, and they play it well. He does still hold on to the AWP. That's a silver lining for Heroic. But this is a swinging moment now for either side. Money not really that great for Godsent. They do sit on a lot higher loss bonus. They need something different here from Heroic. They go for a couple of boosts around the map. One towards connector, one on the B site as well.
Лайков на трансляции. Спасибо тому, кто еще поставил лайк.
Defaulting. Again, Stiko creeping out through the smoke on Monster is really hoping to capitalize, but it's really Heroic that are taking space away. They've cleared out the connector.
Он красавчик забрал.
Stown finding the kill as well, and with connector control established firmly by Heroic,
2
this
плюс
is
3,
heavily
2 плюс 2, что
counteracting
это
what
значит?
Godsent like to play off of.
Что это вообще пошло в
The
чате?
problem is always going to be going into connector when there's 2 CTs there, even 1. Ooh, good luck with that. It's very difficult to get past. Now, Farley and company seem to want to bypass connector entirely. 50 seconds on the clock, though, means that time is whittling down and they might have to go for it regardless. Cadian, AWP at the ready, sees the hip of a Godsent player but can't quite connect, and as he's spotted, he'll be rounding the corner and he's going for the shot, waits too long, and Crystal of all players will be the one to overwhelm. Nico at the ready, but Molotov at its feet.
Да, здесь получается они походу этот раунд слили вот.
Cannot make their way
И следующий у них эко.
And as they do finish them all off, that's Heroic to fall and fluster. And Michael, where you're saying
пик Godsent'ов.
it's also a bit of a poisoned chalice. As they drink from it, but they buy up all around it. Otherwise, if Kaden dies there, I'm sure they're safe. Now, their economy is devastated. Stown, as well as being hunted down, Godsent knows it's much more important to get the skill rather than actually saving their own weapons.
Что это значит 3 плюс 3, 2 плюс 2?
And you're absolutely right. The thing is, if Kaden gets that kill over towards long, that changes the dynamic of that A-side approach from Godsent so significantly. There's a critical duel to be won. Mind versus mind. In-game leader versus in-game leader. And well,
Crystal used to be an Opera, so you can technically say Opera versus Opera.
Yeah, I suppose. There's a good bit of movement as well from Crystal. Not only spotting, got on the jump spot, deploying utility, and just making it so awkward for Kaden
I
throughout.
thought it was modern.
А, 6-4, я так понял.
You don't usually see flary plays like that from Crystal.
Yep.
Я ему сейчас немножко дам мут. Не знаю, на 5 минут.
This time over, there goes the train, and there goes the Mac 10. Finds himself 2 kills, Zen as well, padding up. Not that he really needs it, he's sitting on 12 for 5, and he'll finish on 13. Third round on the board from Godsent, keep all of their rifles alive. Pretty much perfect stuff, and
Лучше бы я не догадывался, если честно.
Is that on the teams that Crystal's on,
Я просто не понял сразу, что это. Но я дал мут на 5 минут, если потом еще будет дал. Еще дам раз.
There's so much economic upside to having one Mac 10, which can potentially get 2 kills in that situation. It's
а на этом, как его, на 1xbet, кто знает, там просто пишет счет или там типа трансляция свежая, типа быстрее идет. Вот боже. Еще один мут.
That crack, the small opening that they have set their sights on.
Зачем так просто делать?
See a bit more light shining through. I'm surprised Heroic aren't going a little bit more aggressive as well. They're limited on utility. You expect them to really hinge themselves on that.
Steak also knows where the second player is now that smoke's been thrown. He knows they're going to be coming back, and he's got the kills. Down to fall as well. Borup's the second player, but he doesn't have HP. And this is what I was talking about, especially because Borup is ideally the player who wants to get aggressive when he's playing that close, but now...
И трансляция подвисает почему-то.
Now he's left alone. At least he's good for the first kill despite his low HP, and he's trying to spray transfer through, but Zen still finishes him off. 4 versus 3, and Heroic
Герои вышли на север, думаю, можно обновить трансляцию или что-то она подлагивает. И знаете, вообще есть на Твиче русскоязычная трансляция? Реклама. Еще один мут. Кто хочет модера? Я могу кому-то одному, кто нормальный, дать модера, чтобы тоже мутил. Это я не сразу могу увидеть. Хочешь, МН, я тебе дам модера. В чате будешь там смотреть за порядком. Валь, но сейчас я не знаю, мне просто надо там как-то разобраться. Просто надо разобраться, как там дать модера. Я видел уже как-то один раз, вроде смотрел. Ты вообще как с телефона смотришь или с этого? Сейчас будет какая-то пауза, я там закрою этот трансляцию, делаю черный экран и там все, настрою, дам тебе модера. В принципе, такое лицо у меня доверенное.
I'm surprised they didn't recover the AK, actually.
I like that you highlight the smoke because that smoke was awesome.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. But Tessix, he's got
Мне не надо спойлеров. Ты хочешь, посмотри там на 1xbet. Кто даст спойлер, получит мут. Спасибо всем, кто смотрит. 20 человек на трансляции. Спасибо всем. Только не надо спойлеров, пожалуйста. Но этот вопрос тоже какой-то такой странный ты задаешь. Тоже в мут. Что за вопросы такие странные вообще? Даже просто не знаю, как такие вопросы комментировать. Никак не отношусь. Негативно. Ну, пока 7-4 это нормально. Главное, чтобы больше этих Godsent больше не набирали раундов, пока пауза сейчас по... Ой, это там какой-то... Как отношусь к мужскому сексу чисто без гейства. Какое-то такое дерьмо спросили. Как сейчас я дам тебе модерку, чтобы разобраться, как это делается. И... Так.
Yeah, you imagine as well, given the roster turmoil for FaZe, if Zen were an in-game leader. Yeah?
Так, Виталь подписался, и Артем Бобровский на меня подписался. Спасибо вам за подписку.
How much of a sponge can you really be?
Yeah. I mean, he was with Crystal and Penta as well. He's with Crystal in this iteration of the roster.
Так, начали играть, давайте. Не пропустить ни одного раунда. Быстренько назад врубаю вам. Не успел я дать тебе модерку, но еще успею. Просто здесь еще когда смена сторон, здесь же нету этого. Пауз. 21 человек на трансляции. Спасибо всем, кто смотрит. Если вам не сложно, подпишитесь на канал, поставьте лайк, мне будет очень приятно. Еще повезло, что никто не стримит, кроме меня, сегодня. И, видимо, из-за этого такой онлайн. Хотя вчера тоже такой онлайн был. Мне очень приятно, что меня так... Для меня 20 человек это много. Спасибо, еще кто-то подписался. Большое спасибо, реально. От души. Там на экране, когда кто-то подписывается, должно вообще высвечиваться, кто подписался, но пока что что-то у меня тупит. Ой, опять. Какие-то такие предложения, что я пока их решу. Хорошо, что я не смог себе заспойлерить это. Но на сколько раундом там вперед на 1xbet показывает? Ну на 2, наверное, там максимум на 3, не? Ну я думаю, хероики по-любому, да, эту карту выиграют. Возможно, у меня ставка не зайдет, но зато у тебя зайдет. Я ставил тотал меньше 24,5 раундов этой катки. Еще первая ставка была, я поставил на этих. Как их? На то, что хероики 2-0 выиграют. Но эта катка, эта ставка у меня уже не зашла. Спасибо, Григорий, за вопрос. Сегодня уже за стрим подписалось на меня 3 человека. Это неплохая статистика, я думаю. Потому что еще 2 дня назад у меня было 4 человека вообще подписано на канал. Спасибо всем, кто подписывается. Большое. Сейчас Эко, я думаю, должны забирать героики, но похожий раунд, да, они тупо на нюке отдали. И на этот уже не отдадут. Хорошо, 9-4. Опа, Бах объявился. Надеюсь, ты больше не будешь спойлерить. Вообще, Кедиан, красавчик. Мне нравится, как играет ставим. В принципе, все хорошо играют. Герои, там же уже эти, как их, комментаторы еще на ESL говорили, что у них всех индивидуальная игра хорошая. Стрельба, все дела там. Да, я думаю, вообще, да, херойки. А эту карту, как минимум, они точно же заберут. Ты что, ставил на хероиков? 20 человек, спасибо, уже небольшой такой юбилей на канале. Я поставил первую ставку, которая не зашла, $3, мог выиграть... Сколько я мог выиграть? Короче, мог выиграть 6. Она не зашла. И поставил еще 2,5 или $1,5, могу 4 там что-то выиграть. То есть верну то, что проиграл, если верну, конечно. Да могли, конечно, просто вот. Но ты еще не проиграл почему-то. Вот небольшая круглая дата уже на канале. Так, уже 4 в 3 ситуации. А, даже 5 в 3 было. О, 3 в 3, отлично. Плюс по хп преимущество у хероиков. Но уже по количеству выживших. О, отлично, 2 в 2. Просто как все быстро меняется. Не могу, не успеваю смотреть просто. У меня 500 было на КФ, 1,5 на хероик. Но я думаю, выиграешь. Прям результат карты знаешь. И результат карты? Я в шоке. Как ты так быстро узнал результат карты? Наверное, ты знаешь, что победа за хероиками.
The decision making from Heroic in the mid round has been pretty much picture perfect. Even when they have these lesser weapons, if they're put in uncomfortable spots, in that 2 versus 2, Kaden reads it so well. Very, very difficult. And you're right, it has been close enough for Godsent to think we could have had a few more rounds here, but Heroic have narrowly taken.
На самом деле не успеваю даже смотреть. Я и в чат смотрю, и игру смотрю, и я не успеваю за красотой игры смотреть, но раунды, что я вижу, потно как-то очень. Может мне добавить комментаторов громкости, напишите. Или нормально. Если я бы русских комментаторов нашел, то вообще ничего не понимаю, что они говорят. Ну спасибо за спойлер. Мут дам, конечно, но... Обидно, если ставка. Я так подозреваю, сейчас эти Godsent заберут раунд, судя по всему. 24 в 5. Они же первую половину также закончили 10-5 счет. Может просто повториться та же ситуация, что и на этом, что и на нюке. Но сейчас, значит, надо думать, что со следующей ставкой делать, на что ставить. Я буду возвращать баланс, либо уже просру все. Сейчас хаешечка отличнейшая. Блин, одного только забрала хаешку. Забрал. Хорошо, Кэдиан. Поставил на то было меньше 25 раундов. То есть на счет 16-8 максимум, что могут сыграть. Если сыграют 16-8, меня этот результат вполне устроит. О, привет, Дамир. Ты поставил на год. Если у меня не зайдет, я поставил на... вообще поставил на Heroic 2.0, эта ставка уже не зашла. Поставил вторую. На тотал меньше 25 раундов. Если у меня не зайдет, надеюсь, хотя бы у вас позаходит. Сначала в комментах спалил, что у меня уже не зашла. Поэтому я уже на свою не особо рассчитываю. Главное, чтобы у вас позаходили ставки. Так, это уже, походу, 10-6 получается. Обидно. Получается, Две ставки на одном событии заруинил. Главное, чтобы у вас еще зашла. Напишите, сколько кто поставил, если это, конечно, не секрет. Ну, кто-то говорил в чате, что КТ это сильная сторона Godsent'ов, так что... Может, будет и камбэк. Ты говорил. 500 на победу Heroic'ов. Ну вот, надеюсь, у вас позаходят ставки всех. Ну, у всех, конечно, не позаходят. Но надеюсь, у вас зайдет став. Вам повезет больше, чем...
Rounds the corner, bit of a jump scare. Good round for
10-9.
Godsent.
Oh man, I hope we get a replay of that one as well, but of course this
Тому.
is slightly more important. The quick kills
Все,
that they're
кто...
able to get.
Я не знаю, машинально просто прочитал. Извините за спойлеры. Но кто будет спойлерить, просто в муд будет реально отлетать. Я знаю, может это не сильное наказание. Но, пожалуйста, не надо. Мы же все пришли посмотреть за КСом, а не...
And unfortunately for them, this could be perfect for what Godsent's brought into this round. They've got 3 MP9s. So I guess maybe Godsent had a bit of a read over here on this.
Просто не читайте чат, там сплошные спойлеры.
But first the MP9s have to get some kills.
And they'll be playing hot potato with the Deagle as well. Nico will look for duels. If he loses, that will swap hands quickly. They'll take their turns at it.
Oh, Martin scouts out a player. Farley knows that there's a few more coming in from behind, but it's Martin to provide cleanup services. Gets 1, 2, 3. USP pulled out, and I have to say, Nico, I don't think that's how hot potato is supposed to work. You're not supposed to be the one left alone in the end, so maybe we didn't quite get the right game. Long range shot from the MP9 will at least recover them the kill.
Зачем вообще заходить, в принципе, на трансляцию, да, если ты знаешь счетнуть? Зачем? Действительно странно. Наша трансляция не выдержала. Завис.
The Tessus unfortunately has been tagged up the wrong side, and Zen with a flashbang very nicely placed allows him to go forward with the MP9 and completely destroy connector presence. That's so lovely.
Yeah, they don't know whether he's still staying in the connector, whether he's made his exit because of the smoke. The door being closed, some sound cues being given up. That could also still be a feign. You can see Heroic aren't really investigating that direction. They just have to be very conscious that that is a possibility. Do regroup up outside of B. They have some utility to spare. A couple of smokes. They can line up for an execute or a quicker play. Tessus throwing one over towards Heaven.
То, что залил, уже опять не зашло. Ставил тотал меньше. Вот этот раунд типа решающий.
This is going to be huge from Crystal. The MP9, perfect place for it too. The mobility can be so important, but Crystal misses his shots, and Zen is left to finish things off. Even so, that's job well done. Godsent up to 8, set up for 9.
Тотал это типа, что в сумме раунды. В раунды в сумме, короче. Тотал. Типа, если все раунды в купу сложить, там должно получиться там либо больше, либо меньше. Поставил тотал больше этого. Ой, тотал меньше 25. Блин, если сработает твой F10, я поставил тотал больше 24,5. Я просто на Кэв сильно очень купился, думал, сейчас поставлю типа 2 У меня еще 4 бакса, поэтому в принципе еще все можно вернуть.
and Nade quickly follows it up. We saw that from Heroic on their CT side. Godsent show us that as well.
Ну, тотал больше, это тотал больше. Типа больше раундов в сумме, чем... Там, я поставил 24-5. Это в раунде, типа в сумме раунда будет больше, чем 25. Меньше, это меньше. Тотал больше, тотал меньше. Блин. Ебаная трансляция. Получается, если же сейчас Godsent выиграет, тогда вообще третьей ставки даже и не будет. Третью ставку можно будет уже на завтра сохранить. Завтра, кстати, я тоже буду стримить. Кто хочет, подписывайтесь. Там, может, я не знаю, колокольчик ставить или не ставить. Вам может скажет, что я начал стримить. Завтра играет G2 против этих Фурии. Там этот будет Нико. Дебют у него завтра должен. Мне кажется, будет интересный матч. Его посмотрим. И, наверное, Астралис там тоже будет интересно. Там же этот Гзипникс возвращается, вернулся. За ним можно будет посмотреть. Плюс у Мибров новый состав какой-то. Там уже... Там все поуходили, там все реально. Залетайте еще завтра на стрим. Сегодня сейчас посмотрим, будет третья карта или не будет. Но... 27 человек на трансляции. Спасибо всем, кто заходит, кто смотрит. Ставьте лайк, подписывайтесь на канал. Мне будет очень приятно. Героики опять, грубо говоря, просрали то, что заработали за первую сторону. Что на нюке, что здесь. Судя по игре, вряд ли заберут, да. Это вообще у них не идет. Ни на нюку не шло за эту. За атаку, и здесь не... Вернее, за защиту на нюке не шло. То есть, типа... Да, явно Хероики раньше как-то сильнее. Может, Godsent просто подсобрались люто. Ой, что с трансляцией? Почему это так... Давайте через ХЛТВ посмотрим. Через ХЛТВ будет лучше.
Here for Heroic, yet to register around on this T side. Then peeks out, gets the first, keeps it spraying, almost a second, but not quite. Crystal has to come in and
уже, да, 5-2
Crystal
просто.
doesn't just want sloppy seconds, he wants even more. Unfortunately, Borov served it up to him. 2v2 with Heroic being very low. How many times have we seen Godsent lose his...
Да, я тоже, типа, вот смотрю, всегда хочу словить кэв какой-то хороший, типа в лайве. Просто, да, вот хаешки забираю, то моликом забираю, просто. Это пик Годсентов. Вряд ли они уже это заберут. Это получается 0 раундов пока что. Godsent забрали за сторону террористов.
Yeah, it really has been a marvel. How many nade kills have we seen to finish off low HP opponents? Now we get the double nade as well.
It's also somehow always in a 2v2.
Yeah. And it's a testament as well to how both of these teams have been playing. They haven't been across the map, so these rotates, these clutch plays, they'll have utility to spare.
Больше никогда на Хероиков, наверное, не поставлю. Как такое можно было заруинить?
The nades seem to indicate that Godsent have that
То,
in the
что
back of
поднял
their
за
minds.
вчера и сегодня. Ну, сегодня я просто на рулетке там много накрутил. Тупо слил. Осталось только 4 бакса.
Oh, I love this.
But this is interesting.
1300.
They even try and get the boost over. Martin, with the help of the smoke, at least has a bit more leeway to back off as well. And with this, they go back.
Понятно, здесь типа команда не виновата, все дела, но если выходит закон подлости. Я тоже всегда, когда на Нави ставлю, у меня не заходит. Я поставил, и всего на это событие у меня ушло сколько? $5. Это сколько? Ну, на русские деньги. Почем сейчас у вас рубль? Я слышал 90. 450 рублей. По сравнению с тем, что вы поставили, это вообще копейки. Поэтому я надеюсь, хоть у вас позаходит ставки. У меня-то уже не зашла, мне-то пофиг. Не хочу тебя расстраивать, но вряд ли героики выиграют. Но Бороб, в принципе, может вытащить, наверное. Но не вытаскивает. Просто вообще. Ничего, да, у них не идет. Все клатчи проигрывают.
Oh my god, how many 2v2s have we seen this map alone? On both CT sides.
Надеюсь, что соберутся. Видишь, пока не пикают. Но у меня сейчас, кстати, дежавю, и мне кажется, что... Я даже не знаю, что мне кажется. Судя по тому, что вот реально уже сколько они сыграли, 7 раундов, у них ничего не получается. Вряд ли они соберутся.
Not able to get things done as Stown equalizes. It's again a 2-on-2, but this time Madden may not even allow the post plant. Zen hot on their heels, lining up the first, a 1-on-1. Stown's on low HP, and he hears the rotation away. Madden has information to play off of, but there's so much time. Madden doesn't let him escape.
Это просто в одну калитку.
And another round where they only survive with one.
The CTs are walking a tightrope made of money, and they will fall off the second they lose a single round.
Вы всем кто лайки ставить, 10 лайков на трансляции, мне очень приятно. Спасибо всем большое. Так ты если со 100 поднимаешь 1000, выводи сразу, что ты. Мне тоже нужно было вывести, я что-то увлекся. Я нож просто хочу, поэтому топлю до талого.
How will these rounds ever materialize in a 2v2 and a 1v1? How many times do we have to see this come through?
Тоже азартный человек. Даже чересчур азартный.
You'll see just 1 or 2 rounds where they'll get the site, you know, 4 players staying up, maybe even just
Странно, почему никто русскоязычный не стримит этот матч из студии.
And it has been so consistent this entire map.
Да, в принципе, не знаю, как вообще так работает, да, ставки, как вообще, чему больше по статистике люди проигрывают, чем выигрывают, почему?
Smoke to assist him, even gives him a small bit of gap to work around. Farley, good for the first Martin. Playing inside the smoke, they're not going to be expecting him. He's never done this so far. Zen goes down short, but this is great setup for Martin to come through and deliver the execution. But he's missed his initial shot.
В чат не заходили, там спойлер, я вам мут кинул. 31 человек на трансляции, всем спасибо. Это очень большое количество. Спасибо всем. Спасибо за лайки, спасибо за подписки, кто подписывается. Наконец-то, первое, только поняли, что им нужна пауза. Что за бред? Блин, братан. Чем ты это спойлеришь? Просто люди заходят же посмотреть. А тут чел спойлеры кидает. Не, тебя не, тебя не. Радим Кутушев.
The thing is, it's not even a well-structured brick wall. It is. it's just the buildings of one, and you just cannot vault over the 2-inch high wall.
You just keep slipping on the bricks as they're falling down.
Yeah, and I've got.
Он
many a
написал
concussion.
счет. Не чекают типа на 1xbet там
Sometimes the bricks fall on
счет
your head,
раньше
and now
пишется,
Tess
чем
is hoping to
трансляция
be
показывает.
that
И они
very
спойлерят
same
просто
brick.
в
Now he
чат.
goes forward to opening kills with the
За
Tech
такие
9,
спойлеры
best
типа
they've
мы.
ever looked. But Zen, he's found at least one and maintains control over B-Shot in the process. Martin pushes through, goes all the way up from Monster. They're not going to be expecting him, but look at this. They're trying to rotate forward, and this is so much pressure onto the Heaven player. Farlig, if he doesn't get a kill over here, this is game over. He gets one, yes, but even so, 2 versus 3. Zen proceeds forward. Can he find an AK-47 over here? He should be able to pick one up from Heaven, but...
Гребаная трансляция залагала, что так. Может, это у меня, конечно, с инетом что-то не так.
Heroic themselves have got plenty of firepower too. But are they expecting a player to come through?
Ну, судя по всему, я так понял. Тут уже все реально понятно. Поздравляю тебя, Иван Луганский.
All the way from connector. Zen move. Tech 9s and a 1v1 is how
Ну, выиграли
Heroic are able
раунды,
to get their
красавчик.
first round on
Хоть
the
один.
terrorist side. Not a recipe for
Красавчики, пацаны.
consistent success, but at least they finally break the Godsent economy.
Жаль, конечно, там чел.
And
Эмэн
it's the
есть.
fastest entries you'll see over towards B on the Tech 9s.
Он очень
for
много
Heroic to
сделал.
get it
Вас
done.
поздравляю,
They
пацаны,
weren't even
конечно.
content with the B site, because how many times have they taken that and been fast flanked, taken out by connector pressure from Godsent? They go A instead. And oh,
Вы,
Boro,
топчики, знал бы,
good
что
start,
так
good
будет,
entry.
сам бы столько
As that
поставил.
Godsent money, it was broken as a result of that one round because of how close it has been.
Только вообще
That tightrope, they
6
finally
часов
slipped.
у меня.
It's been a bit ridiculous.
Да, сегодня я уже, наверное, это последняя ставка. Еще завтра будем стримить. Сегодня еще сейчас досмотрим, с каким счетом здесь все закончится.
Now they get a clean round, so at least a little buffer.
Вы красавчики, пацаны, хоть кто-то поднял. Плюс у вас реально большие бабки там горели.
Utility is not really there, and for Heroic, this is as good a time as any. If you win this round, Godsent have to save a game. They don't have max loss bonus, so they will have to full save in the next one.
Oh,
Not
the
even a
triple
half
boost?
buy.
They didn't spot it.
Well,
Другие страницы это...
this would be the worst possible round for Heroic to fall. They're dropping 2
Да
players.
ладно,
Martin
что
with a
это
sloppy
значит?
spray, but he's still good for it. He's still good for it. 5 versus 3. This could have been the round that led Heroic to 14, but instead it seems like Godsent are leading
Еще
their way to match
подписался
point.
кто-то на канал, спасибо большое.
Smoke, though. Maybe it gives some room to Nico.
Бобур Пол Муродов. Бобу Холмуродов, спасибо за подписку. Спасибо всем, кто подписывается, мне очень приятно.
Takes out that back player. The close one would have been a surefire kill as well. It's a miss on both. Boro out with the bomb towards Monster. Stown trying to create some room and space as he's very separate.
Godsent is rotating though.
Жаль,
Godsent's
конечно,
not
что
falling
я
for
не
this, and Crystal
поставил.
knows where the second player is. Crystal sees the Molotov coming over. He'll be peeking out soon enough, but
Ну ничего,
that
еще, думаю,
is
поднимемся.
2 very low terrorist side players. Crystal surfs backwards. 30 seconds on the clock, and there you have it. Godsent up 15 to 12.
Но завтра там реально изи вин должен быть, во-первых, у этой Фурии. Думаю, G2 сольют Фурия, и Астралис вообще на изи закроет мивер вообще. И завтра просто надо будет хорошо посчитать, на что ставить. Потому что там все очень очевидно, и кафе тоже. Там на Астралис я видел вообще 1.1 или 1.03, от блин. Еще и реклама так не вовремя. Еще кто-то на канал подписался, спасибо большое. Кто это? ЛДХ Лих или Лин, как правильно, не знаю. Спасибо за подписку.
would be pretty big for them. All I'm saying is Fun plus Phoenix get ready for a phone call.
Завтра, может, я реальные бабки залью, чтобы, типа, вывести. Не, ну там Фурия вообще. Она, типа, у себя в Америке или откуда они там. Потом топ-1 вообще без шансов всех выносит. А G2 вообще, они вот хоть и были топ-1. А, стоп, там же Нико пришел. То есть, да, возможно, но навряд ли ну, уже сыгран с ними. Сейчас, я так понял, уже последний раунд смотрим. Смотрим раунд, я завершу уже трансляцию. Приходите завтра на трансляцию. Я думаю, начну я где-то завтра по Киеву в пол шестого, где-то в 6, может. Может в 5 даже. Ну, по Москве получается в 6 где-то. Можете поставить себе этот колокольчик, если он у меня, конечно, есть на этом, на трансляции, чтобы не опаздывать. Может, да. Еще завтра с вами обсудим, на что ставить, на кого. Ну все, ГГ. Надо было ставить на Godsent. Если я поставил 2-0 на Godsent, там кэп был 9. Жаль, что не поставил. Сегодня я вместе на 5 баксов. Всем спасибо, кто смотрел трансляцию. Всех поздравляю, кто поднял бабки. И соболезнования, кто слил бабки. Встретимся с вами завтра. Приходите завтра. Спасибо, кто подписывался. Спасибо, кто лайки ставит. Мне очень это приятно. Это ценю. Все. Всем спасибо. Всем пока.